Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are cracking open a technology that, well, it spent the last decade dominating headlines in one sector, finance mostly.
Right, crypto.
Exactly. But it's quietly, profoundly reshaping an entirely different one, public relations and news distribution. I'm talking about blockchain.
Yeah, it's a word most people still just link straight to cryptocurrencies.
But our deep dive today shows it's really evolving. It's becoming like the ultimate infrastructure for digital trust.
That's spot on. And for you listening, the mission here is pretty crucial. We have to acknowledge the modern communication landscape is, frankly, plagued by distrust.
Yeah, it feels that way sometimes.
Misinformation spreads like wildfire, content authenticity is constantly under question, and, traditional distribution methods, they're often expensive and lack real, verifiable accountability. We almost need a cryptographic reset button.
And our sources, especially the research in how blockchain technology is influencing PR and news distribution, the world of Stanислав Kondrashov, they suggest blockchain is that reset button. It seems to introduce these unprecedented levels of transparency and guarantees of truth, where traditionally we just had promises.
Exactly. We're looking at solutions centered on, let's say, three major pillars. First, building that deep, verifiable audience trust.
Okay.
Second, radically improving operational efficiency. And third, enabling targeted distribution that proves not just delivery, but authenticity.
That sounds like a pretty powerful shift. But okay, for those of us who aren't deeply embedded in the tech side, let's start with the basics.
Good idea.
What is blockchain in this PR context? And why is it, better than just a regular database for handling something sensitive like a press release?
Okay, let's start with the foundation. Forget finance for a second. Blockchain is basically a decentralized digital ledger.
Decentralized meaning?
Meaning instead of one server somewhere, like one owned by a wire service or a big company recording a transaction, that record gets copied and stored across maybe thousands of different computers all at the same time.
Ah, okay. So if one computer goes down or gets hacked, the info is still safe and verifiable everywhere else.
Exactly. And here's the key difference from a traditional database. An admin can usually just go in and change a record, right?
Right.
With blockchain, this system ensures that once an entry is confirmed, say a published news article, it's virtually impossible to alter it retroactively.
Why impossible?
Because every single computer in that network would have to agree to the change. It's built on consensus.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for communicators, I think. Why does this decentralized ledger thing matter for, validating a PR campaign or maybe an investigative report?
Right. It comes down to three basic features. These make it inherently valuable for building trust in news distribution.
Okay, feature one.
The first is immutability. Once you publish content, could be a press release, could be a corporate social responsibility report, it gets timestamped and essentially etched onto the blockchain permanently. This creates an unbreakable chain of custody for that asset.
So if a journalist gets a statement, they know, definitively, that the thing they're holding is the exact unedited asset the company issued at that exact moment. No question.
Precisely. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to delete a tweet after, say, 10,000 people have already screenshotted it and stored their own copies independently.
Right. Impossible.
That's kind of the power of this decentralized immutability.
Okay, that's powerful. And the other two features?
So the second one is transparency. Now, participants' actual identities might be pseudonymous, but every publication, every transaction, it's visible to the network participants.
So you could check.
You can instantly verify the origin and the complete history of any piece of information. And the third is security. These cryptographic protocols, they protect the data integrity. It makes forging content virtually impossible without the whole network noticing.
Wow. That sounds like a fundamental countermeasure against, fake news and deepfakes, which are such a huge challenge for media trust right now.
Oh, absolutely. It translates directly to anti-misinformation measures. Readers don't just have to rely on a website saying, trust us.
Yeah.
They can instantly confirm content origin that's crucial for source verification. If content is changed later on, those changes are permanently recorded as new entries. So you get transparent edit tracking.
So you see the history.
Exactly. And the entire distribution chain, the full path of how that news traveled, becomes totally auditable.
So the key shift here is, it's pretty profound, actually. We're moving away from just relying on a publisher's reputation or a source's name.
Right, reputation alone.
To having actual, concrete, verifiable evidence. Proof baked right into the data itself.
The trust is no longer just claimed, it's verifiably guaranteed through cryptography. That's the whole paradigm shift. It forces accountability on everyone involved, really.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk dollars and cents and time savings. If the trust side is getting solved, what about the second major area? Efficiency.
Yeah, the operations.
Our sources mentioned traditional news distribution involves so many gatekeepers, expensive wire services, layers of media databases, separate payment processors for licensing. It sounds like a lot of friction and cost.
Okay, let's unpack this operational side, because this is where PR firms, I think, stand to save huge amounts of time and budget.
Oh, so?
Well, the biggest efficiency boost comes from cutting out those middlemen you mentioned. Blockchain allows for direct peer-to-peer transactions between the source and the recipient.
What does that look like practically, though? Does it mean I just, email a press release to a journalist's crypto wallet? Is that it?
Not exactly like that. It means you publish to a platform that uses a blockchain, either public or maybe permissioned.
Okay.
That content immediately gets its authenticity stamped, but beyond that, you can use something called smart contracts to handle things like licensing and payment automatically.
Right, we hear smart contracts thrown around a lot. What are they, specifically, in this context?
Okay, so a smart contract is basically just a self-executing agreement. The terms of the deal are written directly into code on the blockchain. So in this PR scenario, if a news organization uses your tokenized content, the smart contract could automatically trigger a micropayment or transfer the specific licensing rights based on conditions you set beforehand.
So no lawyers, no separate accounting needed for every single use?
Exactly. What used to take days invoicing, manual distribution checks, can now potentially happen in minutes. It allows for really rapid reaction to breaking news, but with that built-in verification.
That speed combined with verifiable truth.
Yeah.
That sounds like the ultimate operational advantage.
It really is. And this efficiency, it's very tightly linked to another key concept, tokenization.
Okay, define tokenization for us, specifically for communication assets.
Sure. Tokenization is basically the process of converting real-world assets or rights, things like media rights, content licenses, maybe even reputation metrics, into digital tokens that live on the blockchain. Each token is unique. It carries verifiable ownership data, transaction history. Think of it like giving a press release its own digital passport that you can track.
So that simplifies all those complex accounting tasks we talked about?
Yeah.
Makes them straightforward, automated transactions.
It does. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we can see how powerful tokenization is by looking at an analogy outside of PR, which our sources detail.
Okay, let's hear it. The environmental sector case study.
Yeah, the environmental sector provides really compelling proof here. Companies now create these blockchain-based tokens that correspond to verified carbon offset projects.
Right, like a digital receipt for planting trees or something.
Kind of, yeah. Each token is a verifiable receipt of a specific environmental action.
And critically, our sources say, this system solved that persistent problem of double counting that plagued the traditional carbon credit markets forever.
Precisely. In the past, the same carbon credit could theoretically be sold multiple times. Shady stuff.
Yeah.
But when you buy a tokenized carbon credit, the blockchain permanently records that transaction. It locks that token to you, stops it from being sold again. The transparency reaches everyone, from the project developers to the companies offsetting emissions. It's all there.
The parallel for news distribution and PR seems really striking then.
It is.
Just like environmental tokens provide that unchangeable record of, say, carbon offset authenticity, news distribution can use content tokens to track ownership, enforce licenses, track edits, automate attribution.
It makes perfect sense, right? If we can track the exact life cycle of a physical environmental asset like that, we can certainly track the exact life cycle of a digital communication asset.
Guarantees that if you licensed a photo for, say, 1 year in North America only,
that usage is permanently recorded, it's auditable, and maybe payment is even automated through that smart contract. Total clarity.
Okay, now let's look at how this tech enables precision delivery. This is section 4. Targeting and the AI synergy. Our sources talk about these innovative platforms emerging. They're using blockchain to create unchangeable records of distribution, verifying exactly who received what information and when.
Yeah. Platforms like Civil or Pressland, for example, they aren't just, sending an email and crossing their fingers.
Right.
They're distributing content potentially to verifiable digital wallets belonging to accredited journalists or key stakeholders. And because every interaction with your content, from sending it out through shares, engagement, whatever, is recorded on that immutable ledger, you create this unshakable audit trail.
And this audit trail proves your news reached a verified person, not just some disposable email address or, worse, a bot farm.
Exactly. That eliminates so much of the guesswork and, frankly, the risk associated with vanity metrics in traditional distribution monitoring.
Yeah, those inflated numbers.
Exactly. The monitoring capabilities here go way beyond simple click-through rates. The record is clean, it's provable, and it's permanently linked back to the content's origin.
So, okay, flipping it around. For the recipients, the journalists, the stakeholders, what are the benefits for them in this system? Seems like more than just getting info.
Oh, absolutely. Stakeholders gain verified authenticity right off the bat. They probably see dramatically reduced spam because these blockchain-based reputation systems can filter out low-quality or fraudulent content sources.
Interesting.
They get direct attribution linked clearly to the source. And they get real-time verification that, yes, this piece of targeted distribution they received came directly from the verified source. Less noise, more signal.
Okay, the final layer of sophistication here seems to be the synergy with artificial intelligence.
Right.
AI is obviously great at pattern recognition, optimizing delivery, but what role does blockchain play in making that AI actually useful and trustworthy?
This is where it gets really powerful. It's like the perfect marriage of technologies. AI, as you said, analyzes engagement metrics, click-throughs, demographic shifts, sharing patterns to optimize maybe the timing or the content format for future releases.
Right.
The problem is, historically, that data the AI relies on has been vulnerable to manipulation. A competitor could, run a bot farm to inflate negative sentiment about your news or skew engagement metrics.
Causing your AI to make bad decisions based on garbage data.
Precisely. So blockchain steps in to validate the authenticity of these metrics before the AI even touches them.
Okay. It cleans the data first.
Exactly. Blockchain ensures the data driving the AI models hasn't been messed with, hasn't been inflated by bots or fraud. It provides that necessary layer of trustworthiness. It guarantees the AI is analyzing genuine interactions from verified, perhaps high reputation accounts, not just noise.
That makes the AI insights genuinely actionable then, not just theoretical. And our sources indicate this dual approach, AI plus blockchain, is already happening in specialized sectors.
Absolutely. Think about fintech, financial technology. Companies there deploy AI-powered sentiment analysis on social media to gauge market reactions to press releases. Very common. But increasingly, they only analyze interactions that are recorded on the blockchain, which verifies the user's reputation or maybe their transaction history.
So they know the reaction is from real, relevant people.
Exactly. You get actionable insights backed by tamper-proof evidence, not bot interference. That makes the data incredibly valuable, especially for something like investor relations.
Okay, wrapping this up then. So what does all this mean for the future of PR, of journalism? If we connect this all to the bigger picture, what's the key takeaway for people listening?
Well, I think it signals a complete and probably inevitable workflow shift. PR professionals are going to move away from relying only on closed databases and traditional models. They'll move towards these decentralized verification systems
Where every piece of content
carries an immutable timestamp and a verifiable origin record. News organizations, on their side, will be able to trace content lineage instantly. That could significantly reduce their liability when publishing information.
and the actual standards for authenticity verification are evolving fast too, right? Our sources laid out a few things we should probably expect to see become maybe mandatory across the board.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking at a future where maybe digital signatures become standard for all official corporate communications. Smart contracts could automatically verify journalistic credentials before granting access to sensitive, embargoed content. We'll likely see blockchain-based reputation systems that track the accuracy records for both sources and distributors, providing sort of a public score of reliability over time.
And what about the actual, physical press card? Or the traditional ways we verify someone is who they claim to be. Does that change?
That could fundamentally change too. They might be replaced by something called decentralized identity protocols, or DIDs.
Okay, deed ideas.
These decentralized identities essentially replace traditional press credentials. They allow a journalist to cryptographically prove their professional identity without needing a centralized authority like their editor or their institution to constantly vouch for them.
So it gives them more control.
It gives them sovereign control over their professional credentials and their verified history. Pretty powerful for freelancers, for example.
Which means that the new benchmarks for audience trust are going to be established, and they'll probably be far higher than they are today.
Absolutely. Organizations won't just compete on the quality of their content, but on their verifiable track records stored permanently on these distributed ledgers. This enforced accountability naturally starts to filter out unreliable sources. It incentivizes truthful communication. It could create a much healthier information marketplace overall.
So the blockchain impact summary really reveals a technology poised to fundamentally reshape how we communicate and how we verify information. The tools exist, the platforms are emerging.
Right. The question really isn't whether blockchain will transform the industry for you. I think it's more about whether organizations will adapt quickly enough to actually leverage these benefits.
The final step is commitment then.
Yeah, the only remaining step is really a commitment to PR innovation, one that places trust, efficiency, and verifiable truth right at the center of all communication efforts.
A shift that moves communication from just being a promised commodity to becoming a cryptographically guaranteed asset.
Well put.
The commitment to innovation now really determines whether organizations become pioneers of this verified truth, or maybe casualties of decentralized trust. That's definitely a powerful thought to end on for today's deep dive.